Okay, last class we have seen about we have discussed about the different NoSQL databases. So we have the different kinds of NoSQL databases like key value store databases, column-oriented databases, document-oriented database, and graph-oriented databases. So it will be different kinds of databases are there in the market NoSQL. So based on the use case and based on the requirements, we will go for the different databases. If you want to store any kind of data or documents kind of data like JSON or XML, any kind of document kind of data, you'll go for the document oriented databases. If you want to store the data as a column and column families, if you want to store the more columns, and if you want to store the different kinds of uh, columns, if you want to store schema-less uh, tables, so then we need to go for the column oriented. And if you have the more connected data, like if you have the more relations data, then we need to go for the graph oriented databases. These graph oriented databases have a lot of advantages than the RDMS. So it will be give very less time we can uh, get the connected data, and generally in RDMS we need to perform the more joins. If you have the more relations, we need to provide the more joins. You need to join a lot of tables, and if the tables having a lot of data, it will take a lot of time to fetch the data. So for that problems, graph oriented databases, it will give within seconds. If you have the more relations and the more connected data, if you have the graph oriented databases are very effective for retrieving the data. So last class we have seen different kinds of data. So graph databases, Neo4j is the very popular databases. Column-oriented HBase and Cassandra is popular database. So document-oriented databases, MongoDB is very popular. So apart from these databases, some of the companies are using some other NoSQL databases that will be based on their use cases and their business. So mostly, if you want to start with the NoSQL databases, these databases are popular, and most of the companies and in market also, these are the databases are mostly very popular and very demand in the market. So all these databases having different architecture internally, but only the HBase, it will be come under the Hadoop family. So HBase is internally it will store the data as a HDFS only. So whatever the HBase format will be different. So instead of storing the text file into HDFS, so whatever the format it will have the HBase, so that format it will be stored into HDFS. Generally HBase data it will be stored as H files. The format internally format will be their H files. So these H files it will be stored into HDFS as a different files. So this is about the HBase. So today we'll see what is the internal architecture about the HBase and what is the HBase, how the data it will be stored into internally into HDFS, and so how we can create HBase tables, column families, column. So we'll see how the syntax, how we need to access. So I will show all these. We'll go through all the details. So remaining databases, it will have the different architecture. So it will it don't need to interact with HDFS. But if you want to connect with the HDFS to these databases, we can connect. But if you want to write the Hive queries to Cassandra databases or MongoDB, that we can do it. That we can do it. But whatever the data we are storing, these databases internally it won't have internally it won't store into HDFS. These are other databases, other NoSQL databases, but only the HBase. So whatever the data we will store, whatever the tables, column families, whatever we will store, so all the data it will be stored under the HDFS. It will store into HDFS as a HDFS files only it will store. But the format it will be H files. HBase the file format is the H file. So H files it will be stored into HDFS. So in Hadoop family only one databases we have. So that database is HBase database. So this thing we will use for the OLTP and OLAP online transactions also we can use the HBase. It will have the row wise insertion and row wise updations also. It will be there for all the NoSQL databases. For Hadoop we don't have that facility. Hadoop we will load the bulk amount of data and we will process and we will analyze the data. But these NoSQL databases we can perform row level inserts and row level updates we can perform. Okay, coming to HBase. HBase is the one of the NoSQL databases. It will become under the column-oriented databases. It will be related to column-oriented databases. So it is distributed, multidimensional, and high availability also it will provide. But main feature of the HBase is consistency. So if we write the data to one node, immediately it will be available in the other nodes. Through other nodes also we can access. And high performance and storage system. So these are all the features. The HBase will have all these features. So main feature is whatever the data we stored, it will be distributed to different machines. So internally it will be split as regions and it will be stored across the different machines. It will be stored across different machines. Distributed fashion it will be stored data. So this HBase it will be support billions of rows and millions of columns. So thousands of versions we can, if you want to different versions also we can maintain. So rows and columns means, so generally the RDMS tables, if you having more columns, the performance will be degrade. It will be a lot of performance issues will come. But in HBase, so we can increase to millions of columns also. If you want, we can increase to that much of columns. So it won't performance won't be decreased. So because of this feature only, column oriented databases lot of companies are using. So we can store the petabytes across thousands of community servers. So we can store a lot of data, large volumes of data across the thousands of community servers. Okay, coming to architecture, HBase architecture. So we will have the master and the region servers. So master it will be in the whatever the machine we'll call it as a master machine. So in that machine we'll have the service. Each master service will be run, and region server service it will be run in the it will be region servers it will be in the slave machines. So similarly like HDFS name node and data nodes. So once if you started the HBase, so H master service and H region servers will be started. So internally we'll have the H regions and the H regions will be there. So I will tell you what is H region and what is region server. I will tell you. So coming to this one, so previous class we have discussed about the Zookeeper. So Zookeeper it will be plays very important role in HBase. So whatever the suppose whether the H master is live or dead, or any H regions are exist or dead. So based on that status, we will know through the Zookeeper only. So Zookeeper will maintain the Z node information for the each machine, each H master and H region servers it will maintain. So once the H master is failed, So the Z node, it will be deleted from the Zookeeper. Then the system will treat as a particular H master or H region server is failed. So based on that information only, based on the Zookeeper nodes information only, we will know whether the particular H master is live, H region is server is uh, live or dead. So we will know that information. So all the region server master and the regions, so all this information, it will be maintained in the Zookeeper as a Z nodes. So Zookeeper is a coordinating system. So previously, last classes I have discussed. So what is the Zookeeper and how we can create the Z nodes, how we can delete. So automatically this once we started the HBase, while in configuration files we need to include this Zookeeper cluster. So wherever it is running. So if we want to maintain separately, we can maintain, our HBase itself, it will maintain. Once we start the HBase, it will start the Zookeeper also. Or if you want, we can maintain the Zookeeper cluster externally. So mostly the Zookeeper, they will maintain separately. So while starting the HBase, we need to specify the where the Zookeeper is running. In configuration files, we need to specify. Then automatically the Zookeeper will interact with the HBase and it will maintain the information about the H master and H region servers. So once the clients want to connect it to reading and writing data, so through Zookeeper only we will get all the information about the region servers, regions, we will get the information about all the HBase tables, and meta information will get through Zookeeper only, we will get the meta information for reading and writing the data into HBase. That is about the Zookeeper. So Zookeeper have all the meta information about the HBase cluster. So if you want to read and write, we need to interact with the Zookeeper only. Then we'll have the H master and the H region server. So H master will place the role of whether the H region, once the H region is failed, it will try to create in another region server and creating the regions and compacting the data. So it will place all the operations related to region servers and regions, it will place the role. So it won't store any data, each master. It will have the information about the region servers and the regions. So if you want to create the regions, each master will create the regions. So that kind of all the operations, it will be performed by the H master. It will be in master only, we'll have the H master. So coming to region server, so H region servers, it will be in each slave machine will have the region server. So this service also, once we start the HBase, so H master and H region servers will be started. So these two things will be started, H master and H region server. So then once if we want to store any data, so under region servers only the data it will be stored. So under region servers, the data it will be stored as a regions, H region. So for each H region, so we'll have some capacity like 100 MB, 200 MB, we'll have the capacity. Suppose if you store the 1 GB, so once the region server is exceeded the capacity, so one more region it will be created. So that region it will be in the same machine, same region server, it will be have that same one more region, H region, whatever we have created. It will be in same machine or it will be in other machine. So like that it will be distributed. So one region data it will be in one machine. So another region data it will be in another machine. So whatever the data we have written, so it will be split as a regions internally. So that regions will have internally that regions will store the data as a meta store and H store. It will be stored. So whatever the data it will be. Temporary data it will be stored into mem store, and permanent data it will be stored as a H file. So this H file it will be stored into HDFS. So internally we will maintain the Hadoop cluster. So whatever the data it will be stored into HBase. So it will be permanent data it will be H file. So this H file it will be write to HDFS. So whatever the data we have written, so it will be split as a regions. Internally regions, first it will be write to the metastore. So the metastore data, then it will be, once it is reached the metastore capacity, so it will be this metastore data, it will be stored into RAM. So after reaching that capacity, it will be write to H files as a permanent data. It will be write to permanent data. So once the there is a chance of the region server failures. Once the while writing the data, if the region server is failed, whatever the data it is in memory, there is a chance of loss. So that's why they will maintain the H log. So this H log will be a copy of this metastore. So once it is failed, so whatever the temporary data it is there, H log it will be there. So this H log data also it will be stored into HDFS. So it is like a kind of backup. So once the region server is failed, so whatever the data will store into mem store or metastore. So for that purpose only we'll maintain HLog. So this is like this is the flow, how we can store, how the data it will be stored. First, whatever the data if you want to store, it will go for the master. So master will give the regions. So each region server will have the different regions. So it will store the data into regions. So internal regions, first it will be write to a mem store. So then it will be write to as a H files. So whatever the data we will store into HBase. So internally the H file, all the files it will be stored as a H file format. So this H file format it will be stored into HDFS. This is all about the internal architecture. So what is the master, region server, region, and the mem store, and H file, and H log. We'll have the detailed material about these all the points. So mem store, H file, and H log, H region server region. I will show that material. You can go, you can follow that material, and then you will get more details about these components. This is the basic architecture about the HBase internally, how the H master, region server regions, and what is inside the HBase. So these are the things it will be there in the HBase. So generally coming to whatever we will interact, tables and column families. So then generally the HBase table will have the general table, and each table will have the row key. So based on this row key only we will fetch the data. Uh, row key and particular whatever the column data if you want, we will get the column data, and we need to access through column families. So column first table will have the row key, column family, and columns. So each column will have the values. So this column may have the value or may not be value. So it won't be allocate the memory in the it won't allocate if the column is does not exist for the any kind of row. So it won't provide any storage. So that is the advantage of HBase tables. So we'll see how the row key, column family, column, and it will be there. Versions also if you want to maintain, we can maintain different versions also we can maintain. So we'll see, we'll go through how we can create the HBase table, column family, column. I will show. It's all about theory part. So how the HBase, what is HBase? So HBase architecture and how the HBase tables will be there. So whatever the data we are storing, so this column families, columns, internally they will maintain a format called H file. So that H file it will be stored into HDFS. So whatever we are telling in backend architecture, so these data, column families, columns data, so it will be stored as a H file. So that H file it will be stored into HDFS internally. But front end, if you want to access the data, so we need to access the data as a tables, column families, columns, and row key. We need to access the data like this. Coming to the directory structure of the HBase, we'll have the conf, bin, and lib. lib folder will have all the libraries. Bin folder will have the start HBase, stop HBase will have. Conf will have the HBase site and region servers. What are the region servers? HBase, environ, env.sh. So all these files will have. So these things we need to installation steps means we need to install the file and we need to do the all the HBase path and the HBase conf and HBase diff. All these things we need to set in the bash RC file we need to set. This is the HBase site.xml. So whatever the settings we want to set it, we need to set in HBase site.xml. So HBase root directory. So whatever the files we are storing HBase H files, I'm telling we need to store into HDFS. So for that we need to specify the where we need to store the all the H files into HDFS. So that path we need to specify here. HBase.rootdir. We need to specify here. HDFS localhost. Whatever the path we need to specify here. And replication we need to specify. And here we need to specify the Zookeeper quorum details. So whatever the we have Zookeeper details we need to specify here. So where we are executing the Zookeeper cluster. So if we have the 3 node or 5 node Zookeeper cluster, so we need to specify the all the details, comma separated. We need to provide the what is the host name and what is the port name. So by default the port number will be 2181. So we need to specify the all the Zookeeper cluster details. We need to specify these details. We need to specify. So Java home we need to set. We need to set the HBase details. All these properties we need to set. Class path, environment variables we need to set. So once we set all the paths and the configuration if we did, so then we can start the HBase by using the go to bin folder and we'll have the start -hbase.sh. So we need to start. Once we start, we can see the all the details by using the 60010. By using this port, we can see the all the what is the HBase version and what are the tables are there, what are the regions. So we can see all the details by using this port 60010. Like how we can accessing name node and the job tracker. Similarly, we can access the all the details by using the 60010 port. We can see all the details. These are the commands for the creating the HBase table column family. And if you want to insert the data, we'll use the put. And if you want to create the table, this is the syntax. And if you want to insert the data, we need to specify the put, table name, column family. This is the whatever the column family. This is the put and table name. Text is the table name. This is the row key, whatever the row we want to store the data. So this is the column family colon whatever the column name. So like this we need to specify and we need to store the data like this. Whatever the data if you want to store, we need to store like this. Suppose if you created the employee table, so we need to specify the employee table and here we need to store the employee ID. And suppose if you created the employee details as a column family, this is the column family and this is the column. If you want to store the name, we need to specify the name as a column family. If you want to age and if you want to store any details, so here we need to specify the column detail and these are the values, name Srinivas. So age, if you want to specify the age, so all these details we can specify the values. So like this we will insert the data. So these details, it won't be like the SQL. We won't have the SQL syntax for the creating, inserting and the data. We don't have the SQL syntax. It it will have the different syntax for creating the tables, inserting the data. And similarly, if you want to get all the details about the tables, if you want to get all the data of the text, whatever the table you have created, we need to use the scan text. And if you want to get the data of any one of the row, we need to call like this, get text row 1, like this we need to get the data. So these are the different commands: create, put, scan, and get. These are different uh, commands to get the data. We'll see how they create the table column family. I will show you. We'll execute different commands and we'll see. So if we want to interact with the HBase shell, we need to you can call it as interactive mode and batch mode. So batch mode, we need to interact with the bulk load. We need to interact with any kind of HBase API also there. HBase Java API or HBase MapReduce is also there. So by using those APIs, so by using Programmatic, we can interact with the batch mode. If you want to casual inspection, or if you want to just practice, so we can interact with the HBase shell. So by using the command prompt, we can execute we can create, insert, we can use the create, put, get, scan. We can execute these commands in the HBase shell. We can execute. So if you want to interact with HBase shell, we need to use HBase space shell. By using this one, we need to interact with the HBase. So table names, column families, we need to specify. And these are the different commands. If you want to alter, we can alter, drop, DML, count, delete all. So these are the different commands, HBase shell command. And storing data, if you want to store the data, we need to use create, table name, and column family. And if you want to get the schema of the table, we need to use the describe and table name. If you want to write the data, so we need to use the put. So put table name, row key, defining the column. We need to define the column by using the column family, column, and whatever the data if you want to insert, we need to insert the data. So this is the format to syntax for the writing the data into HBase. So this is the put, table name, row key, and column, and the data. So like this, we need to insert the we will write the data into HBase table. So row keys, we need to provide the unique key. So it is like primary key. So whatever the data, how much data if you want to insert, we can insert. If you want to insert the 1000 columns, we can insert. If you want to insert billion rows, we can insert into single table. So we won't get performance issues. So why we won't get performance issues? So the data, it will be stored as a distributed. So whatever the data, it will be stored as it will be split as a regions. So some regions it will be in some missions. So some regions it will be stored in other mission. So whatever the data if you want, so it will go for the only that particular region. So it won't interact and it won't search for all the missions and all the regions. So each row, each region, it will have the starting index and end index. So based on that index, so if you want to read the data based on that index, so it will go to that particular region, and from that region, so based on that row key, so it will fetch the data. So that is if you have the billions of records also, it will fetch the data in within milliseconds and seconds, it will fetch the data. If you want to read the data, we will have the get for the single record, scan for all the records. If you want to get, we'll use the scan. So this is how we can get the data from the table, HBase table. So get table name and the row, whatever the row if you want to get, then we will specify the row key we need to specify. And reading the data, if we want to get all the rows of the tables, we can read scan my table, we can read the data of the table. So this is about the writing data and reading data. So go through this one, we will get some more points. So how the data it will be right. So what are the things I have discussed? So it will have the wall, this is the log, and metastore and each files. They have the details about the points about the how the data it will be right. So write a log, each log, whatever I have shown in the HBase architecture. So all these steps will be there here. So how the data it will be first, where it will be right, and what is mem store, and what is H file. So we'll have the details about the here. So go through this material. So you will have the some points. What is the necessity of the H file, mem store, and H log. So you will get the points here. So what will happen while mem store? So what is the need of the wall? That means H log. So we'll have the points about the here. You can go through these points. And reading data, client interacts with the go to the particular region, and in that region it will go to H file, and from that it will be read the data. So all the points it will be there here, how they will read the data. So all these things, what will happen internally if you write the create command, if you write the put command, get command, so we will get the data. So what are the operations it will be interact internally. So where the data it will be stored, how the data it will be stored, all the details about these things, H log, mem store, region, so H file. So all these things internally, how the data it will be stored, how the structure will be there. So all these details about the internal thing. So if you want to interact with the HBase tables, directly we need to interact with the commands, create, put, and get, scan. By using the commands only, we need to interact with the HBase tables. We'll have HBase API. I will show this HBase API after discussing about the commands. We'll go through this HBase API. So before starting the HBase, we need to check whether the Hadoop is running. We need to check. I think all of the things are running. So if you go inside the HBase, so before starting the HBase, we need to check the whether HDFS is running. We need to check once HDFS and MapReduce everything is running, job tracker is running. So then we can go through the HBase. So we need to download an HBase, any one of the folder we need to download the HBase. So once you enter into the HBase folder, you'll have the bin, config, and lib will have the different folders. Conf will have the HBase site.xml. So this HBase DFS replication. So root directory I have changed it to master 54310/HBase. So Zookeeper I am maintaining localhost 2180. But here in our mission, the Zookeeper and the I'm not able to execute the regions in the different missions. So that's why we are practicing in single mission only. So in real time, we need to run the Zookeeper separately, and we need to provide those Zookeeper cluster details here, and we can run this HBase in multiple missions. So then we'll get the region servers in the different missions. We'll get the region servers. So all these things we don't need to do. This is the manual thing. So that's why we need to bother about the Zookeeper and everything. So if you consider the Cloudera or the Artnowork distribution, so all these things we don't need to set all these things. So while installing itself, the Zookeeper it will be start automatically. So we need to specify, if you specify where we need to run Zookeeper, all the settings and all this configuration very easy if you use the Cloudera Artworks distribution. While doing manual thing only, if you want to create the cluster manually, Hadoop or core cluster, so then only we need to bother about all these things, Zookeeper cluster and all this configuration. So otherwise, if you are using Cloudera Artworks, so it will be very easy to configure and install all these things, Zookeeper and HBase everything. So these are the things we need to set in the HBase site.xml. Once we configure the all these things, and we'll have the region servers also. We'll have the region servers folder. But here I have set the master and slave one, but because of some this VM problems, it is not connecting and it is now starting in master and slave one. Only it is starting in only one mission. So we will see in one mission. So whatever the things we will practice in single node mission. So everything it will be in same in the multi node also. But here we are not able to see the multiple region servers. But if we go to real time, we can see how the multiple region servers will be there. So, but we can see that one. And but uh, region server, but whatever the commands we will execute, create, put, get, so creating tables, it will be same, syntax and everything it will be same, but the region servers, it will be distributed to different machines. So whatever the data we will store, it will be distributed to multiple machines. Only difference is that one. Okay, here we can start the HBase. We'll have the different script files. We can start HBase. We can start the HBase. Once the HBase is started, you can go through browser and we can access. Six double zero one zero. So in this port, we'll have the all the details about the what is the version. Latest version, current version is we are using 0.94. Latest version will have the 0.98 latest versions. So here we'll have the I already created some tables and some regions. So that's why it is telling about all the whatever I have did. So all these things it will be here, and what are the tables I have created. It will have the information about the tables and the region servers. Currently we have region servers in the only one machine. So that's why it is showing in one machine. If you have the multiple machines, so here it will show the multiple mission details. It will show. So what are the details if we want to see whether any things are running? So here we can see what are the tables are there, what are the region servers are there, what is the version. So Zookeeper details and all these details we can see here. Where the HBase data it is storing into HDFS. So all these details we'll have. And if we go to the whatever the tables we will create, those details it will be in HDFS. So I will show after creating some tables, and we'll see the how the this data it will be stored into HDFS. We'll see. So if you want to practice the tables, if you want to execute the commands, first we need to go for the shell, HBase shell. If you want to So if you want to execute the HBase commands, we need to go for the HBase shell. So inside the HBase shell, if you want, we can create the tables, and if you want to insert the data, you can insert the data. So if you want to list any tables, if you want to see the tables, so we need to instead of generally in RDMS and anywhere we'll use the show tables, but here it won't work. So if you want to show the tables, we need to give the list. List means it will give the whatever the tables are exist. If we want to see the whatever the inside what is the structure of the table, we need to like this describe employee. Okay, maybe some problems. We will see. We will create one table and we'll see. So how we can see the structure of the employee, we'll see. Or otherwise we'll create one more table. So now I'm going to create one more table called, if you want to create the table, we need to use this syntax, create table name and whatever the column family. So I'm going to create the column family. Okay, once if you want to see the details about the employee, we can see the what is the name, what is the column families. So this is the column family. So we can see the information. If you want to see the information about the table, if you give the describer and table name, we can see the all the information. If you want to see the all the data about the this table, we can use the scan employee. So here like this we can create the table. So we'll have the row key we'll have, and we'll have the column family, what are the column family, and we'll have the like this, we'll have the column and we'll have the value, gender, name. So here if you observe these two it will be related to one row. So this row data will have the column family, column and value. So here we have the, for this row we'll have the column as a gender, name, and the column family is personal info. If you check the row column 2, we will have the column as a name and the column as a one more column like salary info January. So we'll have the different columns. For this row we'll have the different columns, gender and name. For this second row we'll have the different column. So like this we can create the table with the different columns. If you want, we can create. So we will see, we will create one more column like this, same, and we'll see employee 1, we'll create one more table, and we'll see, we'll try to execute a few more. So now I have created one more table called employee 1. So it will have the same column family, it will have personal info. So if you want to store the data into this table, whatever the table you have created, so if you want to store the data into this table, we need to use like this. So whatever the table is there, so we need to specify the tables. So we need to insert the data like this. So we need to use put what is the table name and what is the row ID and what is the column family and which column you are going to insert the data. So like this we need to insert the data. So if you go through the scan employee 1, we'll have the data like this. We'll have only one row. So here if you observe, for displaying it is showing as a different, it is showing, but originally we'll have the only two rows. We'll have the row ID with 1 and row ID with 2, but it will have the different columns. So this will have the name and this will have January, like this, gender and name. So this is the how you can maintain the different columns and different rows. Similarly, if you want to insert the data like this, if you want to insert data, we can insert the data. So whatever the column family, columns, if you want to insert the data, we can insert. So if you want to specify the different column family, different column name, we need to specify. So while creating the table, we need to specify at least one column family. After creating the table, after inserting the data, if you want to add the one more column family, we can add column family. We can, by using the alter, we can if you want to add one more column family, we can add the column family. If you want, we can add the column family. So under that column family, if you want to insert the data, we can insert the data. We will see how we have loaded the data into employee table. We will see. So now I have inserted some more data. So here if you observe, here for one row I have inserted 2 columns. Another thing, I have inserted the 1 column. So like this we can insert the data, insert the column different for different rows. We can maintain the different columns. Suppose we can maintain single row, I can maintain 100 columns. For other row I can maintain the single column. So like this we can maintain the different columns by using the column families only. So while creating the table, we need to specify the column families. So without specifying the column families, we can't insert the data into particular column family. If you want to alter the column family, we can alter the column family. We can alter. If you want to add the column, family, we can add the column family. So this is that one. How we can insert the data with the different column families and column name. So if you want to see the data, we can use employee scan employee. And if you want to get the data of the single row, we can single row or single column, we can get the data. So like this, if you want to get the employee 1 data, we can get the employee 1 data. And if you want to get the whatever the table, you can get the data. So if you want to get only single column data, we can get the single column. If you want to get the multiple columns data, we can get it. If you want to get the full table data, we can get the by using scan employee. So this is how we can create the table, insert the data, and getting the data by using get and scan. So these are the different commands. So if you go through the material and if you go through the HBase official site, you will find the more commands to create and inserting. You'll get the creating, inserting data and retrieving the data. And if you want to alter any table name, or if you want to do anything, we can use the alter. Suppose if you want to add one more column family, presently we have the only column family will have the personal info. If I want to add one more column family, so like this I can specify table name and this thing, but here we will get the errors. So what is the error means? Directly we can alter the table. Why means? So some of the people will access the table. So that's why only we can't directly add the column family directly. For that, what we need to do means we need to use this command disable. Disable means no one can use the access this particular table. Disable means, so once the table won't deleted, so no one can access the table. So if you want to alter the table name or anything, so we need to do this one, then only it will alter the table. Now if you observe the thing, so alter employee table, it is working. So once if you alter directly, you can't access the table. So suppose if you write the whatever we have giving that get employee 1, so it will show error. So employee 1 table is disabled. So that's why we can't able to access the employee 1. General SQL tables and RDMS tables, we don't have this facility. So in HBase we will have this enable and disable. So if you want to alter or if you want to drop the table, we need to use this disable and enable. Once the table is enabled, then we can access. So now we can access the employee 1. Previously if I tried the same command, it is telling employee is disabled, table is disabled. So once you enable the table, then we can access. So if we go through now, if you want to insert the data under new column family, we can insert the data. Whatever the table we have created, if you want to insert the data under this table, we can insert employee 1, we can insert the data. So like this, we can. This is the facility in HBase. So if you want to create more columns, we can create under one column family. We can create a number of column families. If you want to add the one more column family, after inserting the data, also we can create one more column family. Under that column family, we can add the more columns. If you want to create more columns, we can create. So this is the facility, and this is the feature about the HBase. By using this one, we can create n number of columns, and under the single column family, we can specify the different column families. We can specify. While retrieving the data, we will specify the what is the column family, what is the column. So whatever the details if you want, we will, by using the row key, table name, column family, column, we will retrieve the data. Similar way, currently we'll have the two tables, employee and employee 1. If you want to drop the table, we can use this command drop table. But here also directly we can drop the table. So it will tell table employee is enabled. First disable, then only you can drop the table. So that's why we need to disable the table. Then only if you want to drop the table, then only we can drop the table. If you want to alter or if you want to delete the table, directly you can't delete or you can't alter. First we need to disable, then only we can perform the alter or the drop. If you want to delete the table, we need to first disable, then only we can perform the operations. For this also we can drop also directly. We can delete the data and we can delete the drop in the real time on companies. So we'll have the different options, like they will have the different permissions. By using the grant command, we can give the permissions to different users for the different tables by using the grant command. So this is about the what is the table and how we can insert the data, how we can retrieve the data, and how we can drop the table and under the table HBase. So internally, whatever the tables we have created, so internally HDFS, it will have the all the data. It will be stored into HDFS. So if you go to the HDFS under HBase, we'll have all the root meta information. So whatever the tables you have created, so that table it will be there, and under this we'll have the regions. So this is the region. For each region we'll have the unique ID. Under this region, whatever the column families we have created, so these column families will be there. Under this column family we'll have the H files. So whatever the data it will store as H files. So this is the things. So directly we can't access this data. HBase will maintain the some format for the maintaining this one H files. So whatever the data it will be stored as a column families, all the data it will be stored as a H files. So like this, the H files, whatever the data we are storing, so the data it will be as H files. So this H files it will be stored into HDFS. So for this H files will have the replication and the block size, everything it will be applicable. So generally in HDFS, previously we have stored the data in text files only we have stored. So HBase, it will have the files as a H file format. So this H files it will be stored into HDFS. So this is how the data it will be stored into HBase, HDFS. So whatever the data HBase, so it will be converted as H files. Permanent files are H files. So this H files it will be stored into. It will have some format. H files will have some format. So that H files it will store into HDFS. So whatever the table we have created, column families it will created like this. It will have the regions. So whatever the table data is there, this table data it will be converted as different regions. So this region, one region it will be in one machine, another region it will be in another machine. So that region information it will be there. So where it is stored, that ID, region ID, all the details it will be there. And internally, whatever the column families it will be stored. Under column family, we'll have the different H files. We'll have the different H files. So this is the full details about the HBase. So how we can interact with the this command line. Till now we have seen how we can access through HBase shell. Similarly, if you want, we can through program also we can see Java also we can see. So if you want to create the table, so we need to create the HBase admin class, and under that one we need to create HBase table descriptor, and we'll have the different methods for the creating the table. And if you want to delete the table, we'll have the delete table method. So before that, deleting the table, we need to disable the table. So similarly, how we can do with the shell scripting, HBase shell. Similarly, we'll have the different classes for creating the table, deleting the table. We need to use the HBase admin, and we need to create and delete. If we want to add the record, so we'll have the put. So put class will have, for put we need to specify the what is the column family, what is the column name, row key, table name. All this information we need to pass for the inserting the data into table. We need to specify all the details. It's H table. We need to create the H table. While creating the table, we need to specify the table name. And while inserting the data, we need to specify the row key. And while inserting the data, we need to specify the column family and column name and column. Here one point is, so here we don't have the data types. Here we don't have the string, integer, we don't have data types. So every data, every kind of data, it will be stored as a bytes. So internally it will store as bytes. So whatever the data, either it will be string, integer or image, any kind of things, it will be stored as under the bytes only it will be stored. So for retrieving the deleting the record, we can, if you want, we can delete the record. And if you want to get one record, we need to use the get. And if you want to get all records, we need to use the scan. So similarly, how we can use input, get, scan. So we'll have the different classes and different methods for accessing the HBase data. So we can access the whatever the, if you want to create the tables and if you want to delete the data. So if you want to provide the OLTP operations through any one of the applications, so web applications or any applications, we can access through any kind of Java or PHP or Python. They will provide the APIs. So through programming also, we can interact with the tables, and we can see the, we can insert and we can delete the row and we can delete the data. So this is all about the how we can interact with the programmatic and how we can interact with the HBase shell. So these are the details about the HBase. So go through this material, you will get the more points about the how we can access the HBase tables, commands. You will get more details about the HBase. Okay, this is all about the HBase. So you can practice. We will get the you know how what is the HBase and how what is the advantage of HBase. You will know. Okay, thank you.